Tyranny always comes in the name of compassion and equality of outcomes. When I was at Columbia, they are brainwashing my classmates saying education should be free. Healthcare is a human right. How unfair is it that there are billionaires and there are homeless people? It should be we are all equal. This same idea began the living hell of North Korea. When Kim Il-sung came to my grandmothers and my grandfather, he said this to exact thing to us. How unfair is that they are landowners, they are capitalists. And how unfair is that your children cannot be educated, you need to pay for it. If you give me the power, Kim Il-sung said, I'm going to make everything free. Government was gonna provide everything for us. If we just gave up our private property, our freedom of speech, our freedom of movement.
By the way, if you are smart enough, you will know who I am. But you are really not smart enough to know who I am. But soon you're gonna know who I am. Very easy.
Wow, very easy. The entitlement.
No, believe me, I'm much better than that.
Was first made a few years ago. Congresswoman Ilhan Omar tried to knock it down by calling it absurd. Then when the media turned up a wedding certificate, Omar went silent, refusing to make any comments at all, saying she does not talk about her family or personal life. Well, now others are talking, like Abdul Hakim Osman, a prominent member of the Minneapolis Somali community, who is now on the record telling the Daily Mail that in 2009, Ilhan Omar married her biological brother Ahmed Saeed Almi so that he could legally remain in the U.S. and attend college. At the time, Omar was married to Ahmed Hersey, but it was a religious marriage, meaning there was no Minnesota state record stating that she and Hersey were husband and wife, and so marrying her brother would allow her sibling to get his legal immigration documents. But Mr. Osman isn't just saying that Omar married her biological brother. He also gave the Daily Mail the name of the Christian minister who married them. That minister reportedly says she does not want to be involved or interviewed about Congresswoman Omar.
Ass up! Lock his ass up! You're going to jail. You're going to jail.
Criticize the government?
What? You want to die? Criticize the government? You can't even speak without a man to vouch for you. You're a woman. Get her.
Welcome to America, Salma.
Can I criticize the government?
You are free to criticize the government.
Death to America! Death to America! Intifada! Death to America!
As long as our economy and political systems prioritize profit without considering who is profiting, who is being shut out, we will perpetuate this inequality. So we cannot stop at criminal justice system. We must begin the work of dismantling the whole system of oppression wherever we find it.
All right, here goes nothing. Oh! Ow! Felt good for once.
You maniac!
So shut up, bitch!
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Wherever this video finds you, welcome to Ticks. Things are heating up, of course, on the old Ilhan Omar, the thieving Somalian refugee whose paperwork is dirty. Yeah, what's up, Detroit? Something I want to get into. Let me see here. Let me bring this up here. Let's see here. Where the heck did you go? I asked the question. Hold on. No crap, you'll make mistakes. I asked the question about why were is this it? Why is it that we label Hold on. Are you kidding me? I asked the question, why is it that why are foreigners, why are they labeled as white on passports? And it looks like it deleted everything that I was talking about. Ain't that a bitch? It deleted everything that I was talking about. Ain't that about a bitch? Oh my God. Oh my God. Let's see here. Hold on. I'm trying to find it. Leave it. Hold on. Why? All right, let's start this over. All right, so here we go. So you know how, before we get into this, you know how they classify foreigners as white, even though they're darker than us, right? So I had to ask, foreigners have historically been classified as white in U.S. law because early citizenship rules tie eligibility to being a free white person, quote unquote. And courts often lump diverse immigrant groups into that category. This was less about biology and more about politics, hierarchy, and legal convenience. Let's see, the Naturalization Act of 1790, the very first U.S. citizenship law, restricted naturalization to any alien being a free white person. This set the precedent that whiteness was the legal gateway to belonging. Immigrants from places like India, Japan, and the Middle East often went to court to argue they should be considered white so they could gain citizenship. Judges used inconsistent standards, sometimes common knowledge, sometimes scientific, racial theories to decide. Exclusion of others. While Black immigrants were later explicitly allowed citizenship starting in 1870, groups like Chinese immigrants were excluded, showing how whiteness was the default category for inclusion. Whiteness was constructed as the dominant category to separate European descended people from enslaved African and indigenous peoples. Instead of creating many racial categories, the government often defaulted to white for immigrants from Europe and, controversially, sometimes from the Middle East or North Africa. In census and health surveys, white is still used as a broad umbrella category, often defined as non-Hispanic European descent. This masks diversity within immigrant groups. Today, many are still officially classified as white in U.S. Census categories, even if they don't identify that way. Advocacy groups have pushed for a separate MENA category to better reflect identity and health disparities. Treating all foreigners of European or Middle Eastern origin as white hides important differences in culture, socioeconomic status, and health outcomes. Many immigrants may legally be white, but socially identify differently, showing the gap between government categories and lived experiences. Foreigners were historically classified as white in the U.S. because early laws tied citizenship to whiteness, and courts reinforced that standard. Over time, this legal shorthand became embedded in census and policy categories, even though it oversimplifies diverse immigrant identities. Ain't that wild? Like, they don't claim to be Black anyway, so might as well. Exactly. But ain't that wild? So there's the history behind that. So let's get into I've been looking for this video. It's really this was a cabinet meeting. It was a 2-hour plus long cabinet meeting, but this was the hot take from that meeting concerning Ilhan's.
The Somalians ripped off that state for billions of dollars, billions, every year, billions of dollars, and they contribute nothing. The welfare is like 88%. They contribute nothing. I don't want them in our country, I'll be honest with you. Okay? Somebody would say, oh, that's not politically correct. I don't care. I don't want them in our country. Their country's no good for a reason. Their country stinks, and we don't want them in our country. I could say that about other countries, too. I can say it about other countries, too. We don't want them the hell. We have to rebuild our country. You know, our country's at a tipping point. We could go bad. We're at a tipping point. I don't know if people mind me saying that, but I'm saying it.
Before he gets into the tipping point situation, growing up in Cleveland, it was, of course, if you're not familiar with Cleveland, especially like in the 70s, 80s, 90s, even today, the east side and the west side are separated by Tower City downtown. Blacks on the east, whites on the west. Growing up, you saw very few white people on the east side unless they were business owners or a teacher. Okay. There was an enclave. I'll never forget, there was an enclave between our school, our junior high school, and our neighborhoods. And if you knew not to walk down those streets, because those Italians would chase you up out of there with baseball bats. I'm not kidding. We're junior high school kids. They would chase you up off of their streets. They didn't want you walking down to or from school. That was a lesson that we learned that our parents did nothing about. Because let's just be honest, they didn't care. They just told you, well, then don't go down the street, which is common sense. So yeah, don't do it. But that was the most that they did about that. Concerning foreigners, and of course, you'll have the shout out to Bone Thugs Harmony. You'll have the pro-whack crowd, you know, the pro-blacks who just defend anything that is detrimental to black people. They'll say that what Trump just said about Somalians was racist. Me personally, I don't care. I don't care. These people are not our friends. Not all skin folk is kin folk. You have to understand that. These people have told you 1,000,000 times over that they're not your friends. Tariq has spent years calling these people musty tethers, having these debates with them. They do not care about you. You are a walking ATM. If you go overseas to their country, you're an ATM and dark skin. If they come over here, you see what they do. They strip you of as much of your resources as they can. They dump these people in your black neighborhoods, and you think that you're getting along. Hey, my brother. And just because hey, my brother, my friend, back to you, and do all the handshakes and all that stuff, you know, that don't mean nothing, because they don't invite you to the mosque. They don't invite you to the secret meetings where they talk about political strategy and how to take over your neighborhoods. Yeah, they claim it's black now, right? You know, spend years saying that they're not black, as in, you know, related to ADOS, all right, or FBAs. That's the one thing that we've actually named ourselves. Instead of letting the government name us Negroes or African Americans or anything like that, we've labeled ourselves as either FBAs or ADOS, fundamental Black Americans or American descendants of slavery. We've labeled ourselves. They don't claim to be part of us, and they're not a part of us. Somalia had nothing to do with the intercontinental transatlantic slave trade. Absolutely nothing. It was a west coast of Africa thing. Somalia is on the east coast. It had nothing to do with us. We're not related to them in any way, shape, or form or fashion. Jason Black played the video of her saying us black people. I can believe it. Like, no, don't come running to us now that the U.S. government is about to put his foot up your ass. I mean, he about to put his kneecap in it. Knee all the way up to the kneecap. Deservedly so. And we're not going to help you. Only the goofy, low IQ, racist blacks who think that, accountability is racist. Stealing is legal because you stealing from the white men. They, them goofy retards. They, those will be the ones that are out there fighting for you. We don't care for them anyway. The unconscious Lees, the Angela Rye's, the Amanda Seals, the tethered with these foreign lineages, the Abby Seals. I mean, I'm sorry, Abby Phillips. What's that fool's name? The Martin, Roland Martins. We don't fight. We don't listen to them. Those are losers. We don't follow them. These are people who can't even keep a job on TV. Do you understand? But Kari Sellers and them. We don't listen to these people. Who's that other idiot? Tiffany Crosses. We don't listen to these people. These people are morons. These are bought and the fart Martins. These are bought and paid for Confederate slaves. We don't listen to these people. We damn sure ain't listening to no celebrity. You notice they ain't have LeBron James in front of a camera talking tamales because you can't pay him enough to do that. Well, maybe you can. Maybe his asking price is too high. I mean, Beyonce wanted 10 million. Yeah, Michael Van Jones. Yeah. I mean, Beyonce wanted $10 million to come out and say vote for Kamala. $10 million to say vote for Kamala. You ain't getting no song. You ain't getting no dance party. You ain't getting no concert. Your money, your paper ain't big enough. You say that baby boomer mentality for fighting for everyone. Dude, that baby boomer mentality of fighting for everybody. What is wrong with my reading? Doesn't exist in Gen X and millennials. Right, because we don't care. You dump these people in our neighborhoods and they take over our neighborhoods and they force us out. They force us out. This is your new voting block. This is your new political power. The funny thing about it is that a lot of these people turn around and they vote conservative. They vote conservative. They don't vote for you. They vote conservative. You know why? That's the system that was oppressing them, which is the same system that the Democratic Party is pushing on them. Yeah, come on in. We've got Mondami, we got AOC. We're all about socialism. They like, yeah, give me all the welfare, give me the houses that y'all stole from Americans. Yeah, give us all them resources. Yeah, am I naturalized? Am I allowed to vote now? Cool, I'm voting Republican. I'm voting Republican. The black vote has no meaning. No meaning. No meaning. Look at that. 92 and 77%, and Kamala still got blown out. The tightest blowout in history. The race was over before midnight. Like, stop it. Y'all remember we sat up here and watched the election night? All it took was for Pennsylvania to fall. Once Pennsylvania failed, it was over because he had all of the electoral college votes to secure the presidency. It didn't even matter about California. California didn't even matter. He needed Pennsylvania to secure it. He got it. It took forever, but he got it. It was purple for a minute, but he got it. But at any rate, let's get back into this.
We could go one way or the other, and we're going to go the wrong way if we keep taking in garbage into our country. Ilhan Omar is garbage. She's garbage. Her friends are garbage. These aren't people that work. These aren't people that say, let's go, come on, let's make this place great. These are people that do nothing but complain. They complain. And from where they came from, they got nothing. They came from paradise, and they said, this isn't paradise. But when they come from hell, and they complain and do nothing but bitch, we don't want them in our country. Let them go back to where they came from and fix it.
Yeah, because apparently what happened was, hold on, let me back that up. Get a better, there we go. Because apparently how they said that the fraud exploded like it did was because they played the race card. When you had people trying to blow the whistle and turn them in for the fraud, and of course they're in court trying to block the fraud, they called it racist. Oh, you're not giving us this money because you're racist. Like, never mind that you can't prove where the money is going. So you made it a racial thing. So therefore, the courts allowed the fraud to continue to happen, and it exploded. It exploded. And if you went up against it, they called you racist. You know, they pulled the typical ADOS card, where accountability is racist. Nobody wants to be seen as a racist or an istophobe, so we're just gonna give it to you in order to keep the heat off of us. Like, I don't care. You call me any type of istophobe you want to. You call me racist all you want to, but I'm not going to allow you to steal from me. I'm not going to allow you to commit the acts of crime and violence that you're committing. I don't care about that. Tell it to the judge. Unfortunately, in some of these cases, if you get attacked by a black person, and if you call that black person a name after they've attacked you, and they bring that up in court, the court will throw out the case because clearly you had racist intent in your mind, even though you were attacked by this person of color out of nowhere. I know, wild stuff, ain't it? At any rate, so let's get on to Ilhan and her response to all of this. But before we jump to her, we're going to get with Scott Bessent. And if y'all aren't familiar with Scott Bessent, that's the Secretary of Treasury.
Good morning and welcome to Face the Nation. We have a
Scott Bessent, that's your money guy. He's pretty much America's accountant. And he's going to get into the details of what actually was going on concerning Minnesota. Let's go.
A lot of news to get to, and we begin with the Secretary of the Treasury, Scott Bessent. Good to have you here.
Morning, Margaret.
Now, before we get into this, tell me or tell me not, does he not look like Marty McFly's father in Back to the Future? Does he or does he not look like George McFly? Tell me he doesn't look like George McFly. And you know what? I didn't even know that. I mean, not that it matters, but I didn't even know that this guy was gay, because he carries himself with that accountant aura. But I mean, not that it matters, but you know how the way they portray, how the way the gays over the past 4.5 years, you know, they're so flamboyant and out there and finger snappy and trying to, you know, pull their dick out in front of your kids and whatnot. This guy is very reserved. Anyway, let's go.
Mr. Secretary, a lot of people are out there holiday shopping. Here is how the president described back in April what to expect from this season.
Maybe the children will have $2 instead of $30, you know, and maybe the $2 will cost a couple of bucks more than they would normally.
Was the president's prediction then correct?
Margaret, it's actually been a very strong holiday season, and we've seen across all the income cohorts thus far. And so there's nothing to say that they're $2 instead of $30.
The president was wrong to predict lower numbers of purchases and higher prices.
The economy has been better than we thought. We've had the 4% GDP growth in a couple of quarters. We're going to finish the year, despite the Schumer shutdown, with 3% real GDP growth.
Mm-hmm. Well, the maker of Tonka trucks, their CEO said it's going to cost $40 for their toys right now because of tariffs and inflation. It was $30 the year before that, 25. Prices in the toy space are accelerating, and people are feeling that.
Well, Margaret, inflation's a composite number, and it's roughly the same year over year. And if we were to look at all imported goods inflation is below the inflation number.
The inflation.
Hold on. All right. So yeah, Jerome Powell, I'm familiar with that because they wanted Trump to fire him. They were asking that Trump was going to fire him. The press was putting pressure on him because Powell wouldn't lower the interest rates because America's credit. Trump got America's credit back on track. So he was trying to pressure Powell to lower the interest rates. As I was saying early this year, when all of that was going on, I said, well, either Powell is holding out to see if for a couple of months it holds steady or continues to lessen, as far as our credit rate going up, or he's looking to see if our credit rating drops before he starts playing around with the interest rates, or he has severe TDS. It's one of the three. Either he's watching the market or he's got TDS, or one of the two. It's one of the two. He's either watching the markets or he has TDS. Come to find out, it's TDS. So once his contract is up, he's out. Trump's not going to fire him. But he did lower the rates a little bit. A couple months ago? He lowered the rates a little bit, but not lower than what they should be. So Powell will be out in a couple of months. He's already got a guy lined up to take Powell's chair. And this is why, in all honesty, if you're looking to buy a home or start a business, it's best to wait. See, Trump is bringing in the new Federal Reserve so that the Fed can cut deeper on interest rates. Right. So I'm waiting to see what happens. I'm waiting to see what happens. If they cut the interest rates even lower, that'll bring down home ownership. But the thing is, at the same time, come next month, that big, beautiful bill kicks in. And then you'll have more DHS, more ICE agents, and new immigration judges, because, it's about supply versus demand. If you get rid of the illegals, you'll watch food costs drop. You'll watch home ownership drop. Plus, with the job market, with the jobs that are coming in from overseas, employment will start to skyrocket. You saw a lot of people this year get fired by the tens of thousands in a lot of markets. That's because the industry is changing thanks to AI and robotics. All right. Plus the economy. A lot of people can't afford. You had a lot of companies that had a lot of bloat. This is okay, to help you understand it better, take this whole Target situation. Target, because of DEI policies implemented during the Biden administration, took on a lot of garbage, low-tier product producers. Okay, a lot of garbage, low-tier producers. Some of them being black. Prime example, let's say the best way I can explain it. Okay, like the pink sauce chick. If y'all are not familiar with the pink sauce chick, there's some chick on TikTok, she make this pink sauce in her kitchen and people was like, oh, that looks good. So then she started selling it via TikTok. And I mean, no FDA, nothing. She just sending people dairy products and whatnot through the mail. People are getting sick. What's up, Carlton? People are getting sick. The bottles are showing up all exploded, filled with mold, etc. So Dave's Gourmet, pink sauce got people sick, right? So Dave's Gourmet came in. He stepped in. His company stepped in. They said, hey, look, we'll sell your stuff. We'll bottle sell your stuff. We'll deal with all of the regulations, the FDA regulations and everything, and we'll have your stuff on the shelves in Walmart. So she said, okay, cool. So they gave her $150K, signing bonus, the rights to, the rights to license her stuff. You see, my stomach still hurt from that pink sauce, right? So, but the stuff didn't sell at Walmart. The stuff didn't sell at Walmart. Same thing going on with all of these black entrepreneurs who use Target, that Target signed contracts with, to put their stuff on the shelves. The stuff doesn't sell. So it sits there and takes up space and collect dust. Any business owner will tell you that if I have your licensed products on my shelves and it's not selling, well, then I need to get your stuff off of my shelves and put stuff on the shelves that will sell. Let me put new products up here that I think will sell. This is the situation with Target. A lot of black products were not selling, so Target threw that shit away. Here, return to sender. So black women got mad and called it racist. But the only reason why they were keeping the stuffs on the shelves was because of the what is that, BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street loans that they took out during the COVID initiative. What's up, Simi? Ain't seen you in a minute. Yeah, so they did that so they could get the money. They took the loan, threw your garbage, worthless products up on their shelves, where they sat there and collected dust for 4 years. Right, it's not racist, it's just business. It sat there collecting dust for 4 years. So when Trump came in and said DEI is racist, we're done with it, made an executive order, they sent these people back their stuff. To which, these black females who want to go mainstream said that it was racist that their products were returned to sender. And the messed up part was that it wasn't just Target. You had Walmart, Walgreens, wherever else they had these contracts at. If your stuff's not selling, it's not turning a profit, they send it back or they throw it in the discount bin. I know for a minute they had pink sauce. You know how Walmart has the discount section? Yeah, that pink sauce was in there and then it was nowhere. The last time I saw pink sauce anywhere was in a discount bin at a Dollar General. Yeah, Master P and Snoop Dogg did the same thing to Walmart. Their cereals weren't selling. They called Walmart racist. How was Walmart racist? They don't have a sign up saying don't buy this, it's made by black people. If people mess with you, they mess with you. If they don't, they don't. It's like the whole situation with 50 Cent. Remember he told the story about with his son Marcus. He saw a shoe store down here in Atlanta that was going out of business. So he decided to buy the guy's inventory. He bought the guy's inventory, put it in a storage container, told his son, sent his son the key. Hey, look, sell these shoes, son. Set up an online store, sell these shoes. Be your own boss. What did his son do? Went in there with his friends, grabbed the shoes that they wanted, and the rest just, went to pot. Wound up going in the trash. At least $500,000 worth of inventory. Just trashed. No entrepreneurial spirit. What? I guess the storage facility where the shoes were held, I guess they're racist because the son didn't have any business acumen or nobody messed with him. Is Walmart racist because nobody wanted to buy your garbage? I mean, help make it make sense. You say, while Al Sharpton and black community sabotage Tabitha business of having breached a contract with businesses with Target more than 100 locations. Right, that one chick, her products were actually selling. She kind of got a little caught up in it, but she was working with Target trying to get her stuff back up in there. She's like, hold on, wait a minute. I'm getting profit margins. So she was trying to work it out with Target. But, Al Sharpton, and this is, just to show you the folly of protesting. Al Sharpton gave these people $50 gift cards to Costco. They went up in Costco to do the photo op. And the people came out, the old people came out after they did the whole photo op with Costco and Al Sharpton. Them people did not spend those gift cards at at Costco. They turned around and sold those gift cards to friends and family members. Like they do food stamps. $50 gift card, give me 30. Give me 25, give me 40. That's pretty much the extent of protesting today. I'll do it if there's money involved, but I'm not doing it just because. The last time we saw a protest that was done just because concerning us was when that Asian dude, as usual, beat up a ghetto black woman in his beauty supply store that sold hair and makeup and all that stuff, black beauty supply products. The one guy threw the brick through the window. He got arrested. The next day or a couple days later, they were out there. The black men were out there protesting. They had the signs, but the Asian shop owners threw up 30, 40, 50% discount signs all over the place. And there was a line out the door. And the brother asked the one sister, light-skinned chick, I'll never forget, he asked her, he said, hey, sister, don't you know this guy, he beat up a black woman. We protesting. Why you in line to buy this stuff? She's like, I don't give a damn about that. I'm coming to get my discount stuff. 30, 40, 50% off. I don't give a shit if he kicked the shit out of Harriet Tubman. I want my discount. I mean, that's pretty much how she framed it. Yeah, you remember that? Yeah, them sisters was deep out there. You remember that? Al should have redirected protesters to black businesses. Where is there a black equivalent to Walmart? I hear what you're saying, Carlton, but where's the black equivalent to Walmart? You know what I'm saying? Where's the black equivalent to Walmart? Yeah, but them sisters was deep out there. And when she told him that, instead of him arguing with her, he should have done what that black dude. Right, we ain't got one, exactly. Like, it was packed out there. He should have done what that black dude did about those black kids that beat up that pregnant woman in Chicago. He's sitting up here trying to, like, hey, yo, let the men handle this. We ain't letting y'all handle nothing. We strong welfare queens. And you know what he did? He packed up his, quote unquote, packed up his tent and went home. He said, you know what? You got it. You say black people still shop at Walmart. I sent it every week. Yeah, I go to Walmart at least 3-4 times a week. I ain't even lie. It's almost like an excursion for me. I grab a buggy just to pick up a bottle of juice because you never know. And trust me, I tried boycotting Walmart. But where else is there to go? You know, people were talking about Walmart years ago, how they come in, Walmart comes in, they sell everything that your neighborhood little mom and pop shops would sell. They undercut the market in your area. Yeah, they undercut the market in your area, thus those other shops close. So therefore you only have Walmart to go to. Early, like this year, September, they closed down the Kroger's across the street from my Walmart in my area. They shut down the Kroger's. Kroger's was across the street from Walmart, and Aldi's was across the street from Kroger's and Walmart. So you had 3 grocery stores right there within a 5-minute walk of each other. That Kroger is gone. I know that Aldi's is going to stay because they have cheaper prices than the Walmart, but understand Walmart has destroyed a lot of business in this area. You say Walmart and Amazon are too strong to boycott. Sorry, bro. They will have to call all of us the hard ER for me to cancel them. Have the heir to the Walmart fortune come out. Hello, is this thing on? Yes. Oh, yes. Black people? Nevers. You're nevers. That is all. Thank you. You know how the microphone had to screech? I I mean, something like that would have to happen. What's up, man? You say this is why Meijer is much better than Walmart. Personally, you know what? I have to admit, I like Publix. They pricey, but I like Publix. I like Publix. Publix is, you know, their products are much nicer. You know, they got like an aisle buddy practically in every other aisle. They just pricey. They also said they're going to boycott Airway Airlines. What is Airway Airlines? Airway Airlines. What the hell is that? Like a Fisher Price playset airline company? I've never heard of them. All right, let me get back to the real stuff. Because if that did happen, we'd still shop at Walmart. Here's the excuse: they weren't talking about me. Pretty much. But understand, Chicago lost all 4 of their Walmarts. Oregon lost their 2 Walmarts. And you've had a lot of Walmarts across the country that have shut down. Therefore, when you lose a Walmart, what you've created a food desert. I mean, you've created a serious food desert in that immediate area. And I was saying this last year on my you said United Airlines or something like that. Man, look, black folks don't even fly like that anyway. And those who do fly, they ain't paying attention to no crap like that. They don't want to listen to you. Plus, a lot of people that fly nowadays, they're like corporate. You get a lot of the people that fly on the weekends. Those are your pedestrian travelers. But as far as like that Monday through Thursday crowd, the majority of them, well, should I say Sunday through Thursday, or even Sunday through Thursday, those are usually your business crowd. There's corporations that are paying for those tickets. You understand? It's no different than a hotel. Hotel's business, Sunday through Thursday, is reliant on the business class. It's Friday, Saturday where you get these stragglers, the vacationers or the locals. Do you understand? Airlines is no different. Airlines are no different. Having worked in the hotel industry for 25 years, believe me, this ain't no goofy trust me bro stuff. This is actual real life numbers. From Sunday through Thursday, you have corporate people who are flown in, staying in these hotels. Friday and Saturday is when you get the locals in, the vacationers, usually on Friday. Sometimes Saturday, you know, they stay for the night. Those are usually like the travelers. Don't forget Walmart is in the top 10 companies that are too big to fail. Yeah, well, if the economy tanks, they'll definitely fail. But I understand what you mean. You know, it's like, you know, the adult industry. But then again, look at how strip clubs, look at how they're faring now. A lot of these strip clubs are like ghost towns now because a lot of men either they don't have the discretionary income, or those who do have the discretionary income, they're turning it into something else. They're not turning it into physical adult interaction entertainment, if that makes any sense. Like, why would I spend $300, $400 on a stripper when I can just, you know, 50 cent worth of cold cream? Or go on like Eros or something like that and get you a quote unquote private dancer, a dancer for money who will do anything you want her to do. You know. Yeah, I know I was quoting the Tina Turner song, but get back into Scott Bassett.
Number, you mean
the PC number, which is about 2.9%, imported goods inflation is about 1.8. It's the service economy that's generating inflation, which actually has nothing to do with tariffs.
But when we hear from, for example, the president, when he says that affordability is a con job by Democrats, that seems to just not be resonating with consumers that have been polled by CBS. 60% of Americans polled by this network told us President Trump makes prices and inflation sound better than they really are. And his approval rating on the economy is now down to 36% in our latest poll. On inflation, approval is even lower at 32%. Don't you need to show that you feel the pain?
Well, Margaret, I think the president's frustrated by the media coverage of what's going on.
This is the polling of
No.
average Americans.
Yeah, but I think the average Americans, they are hearing a lot of it from media coverage. And I will tell you that the affordability has two components. There's inflation, and then there's real incomes. Real incomes are up about 1%. And what we're not going to do is say that Americans don't know what they're feeling. We've been working on it every day. I was on your show on March talking about affordability. We've made a lot of gains, but remember, we've got this embedded inflation from the Biden years where mainstream media, whether it's Greg Ip at the Wall Street Journal, toxic Paul Krugman at the New York Times, or former Vice Chair Alan Blinder, all said it was a vibe session. The American people don't know how good they have it. Now, Democrats created scarcity, whether it was in energy or overregulation, that we are now seeing this affordability problem. And I think next year we're going to move on to prosperity.
You do think there is an affordability problem?
Sorry?
You do believe that?
I think the Biden administration created a terror.
No, but now
yeah, I mean, you have to be honest. You say OnlyFans and Twitter. What love got to do with it? This guy's about to flip the switch and pump my crypto bags. Yeah, I mean, normally it takes 2 years going into a new presidency to where you actually see where you write on tune. You write on Tume. I'm the Timu. Let me stop. What's going on, Unsunken? Normally it takes 2 years before you see a president's economy kick into action. Usually about a 2-year curve. That's why, like, early in the year, we were saying, yeah, I heard. This is why we were saying early in the year it's going to get worse before it gets better. Because you have to change out all of the bad. Brother looks like a real life Muppet. Yeah. But I like Scott Bessent. I like how he presents himself. The brother doesn't pull no punches. The brother from another mother. He doesn't pull any punches. He's straightforward with you, which is why Trump kept him on. All right. No, but it takes about 2 years. So you probably won't see anything really substantial to about maybe this time next year. I forget the type. I'll grab my glasses. Right. I had to grab my glasses. Always, jinkies my glasses whenever I do these videos. But yeah, it normally takes about 2 years before you really start seeing the effects of a new presidential economy, depending on if they implement certain changes to the budget or whatnot. So, I mean, like I said, you see thousands of people getting fired, but a lot of that is corporations dumping a lot of DEI hires. All right. They've changed their strategies. Things are not working. So they need to make money. So they have to cut costs. You can blame the tariffs all you want to. But truth of the matter is that you have a lot of bloated payroll that are bloated for nothing. They're bloated for the wrong reasons. And people are just cutting the dead weight, just like with any business. Why the hell would I keep you on when you do nothing? All you do is take this piece of paper from one floor to the other, back and forth. That's all you do. You're a waste of space. You're a waste of money, especially when I can get somebody to scan it up in a machine, dump it in the computer, and have it scanned and then shipped and stored somewhere else. I don't need a paper copy. If I need a paper copy, I can have somebody on that other floor print it out and then file it. Why would I have you type it up word for word and then take it upstairs or downstairs to the archives for it to be filed? I can just get rid of you. I can do that myself.
Nearly 12 months in, you said the president would own the economy at this point.
I said that the Biden administration created the worst inflation in 50 years, and maybe for working Americans, the worst inflation of all time. And we have pulled that number down. That Strategas Research does something called the Common Man Index. Under Biden, the accumulated inflation number, as measured by CPI, was about 20%. Their index showed 35. This year, for the first time, the Common Man Index is below the inflation index because the basket of goods for working Americans, food, gasoline, rent is coming down. So I wrote an essay March 12th, 2024, and it talked about the 3 I's: immigration, interest rates, and inflation. Mass unfettered immigration, depressed wages, cause housing prices to go up. President has closed the border. That is fixed. Interest rates have come down. The bond market just had the best year since 2020. And now we are working on inflation, and I expect inflation to roll down strongly next year.
Well, I mean, grocery prices are up nearly 3% compared to last September. The president seems to be acknowledging that grocery prices, or at least beef prices, are a challenge, because he put out this order just yesterday saying they're going to investigate corporate price gouging for high beef prices. Isn't suing the food companies the same thing the Biden administration did, and it didn't really work?
Well,
how's this any different?
Nothing the Biden administration did work.
So why are you doing it?
Because this isn't the same thing. If they had done this, if they'd done it properly, we'd be in a different spot. And like, beef is one component. Thanksgiving turkey was down 16%.
Well,
yeah, I mean, I have to admit, think about it. How much did you pay for your Thanksgiving turkey? I got a 13-pound turkey for like, I would guess you could say like $1 a pound, which to me wasn't bad. Normally I spend like $20-something on Thanksgiving turkeys. Instead, this year I paid like what, $13 and some change for a 13-pound turkey that we barely ate. Remember back in the day when people used to say you can't get fired from a government job? Them days are no more. Yeah, like, I don't know who told them that. 300,000 people can tell you off rip you get fired from a government job. But yeah, Scott is right. Like, the Biden administration was filled with so many incompetent freaking morons who are out for themselves. Of course not. Of course they didn't know what the hell they were doing. I mean, the whole situation with the passport bros that was going on over the past 4 years. I mean, you had, of course, the dry dicks talking about going overseas or going to South America for $40 coochie. But the rest of us who were actually paying attention to what was going on with society at large, not just because black women didn't like them, we were talking about expatriating. Because we could see the writing on the wall. We were heading towards a socialist/communist state. I mean, you still have cities right now where crime is legal. Crime is legal. Look how they fighting for the illegals, who are the biggest criminals in this country right now. Are you kidding me? Mondami talking about emptying the prisons and doing away with the police, calling social workers to deal with violent situations. I mean, do you hear? I mean, seriously. You got Sharia law in Dearborn, Michigan. By the way, that's next. After Minnesota, trust me, next month, I'm gonna tell you right now, he's gonna start from Maine and work his way from the East Coast to the West Coast to eventual California. That's where them DHS and them ICE agents, it's going to be a clean sweep all the way across the country. Because they're letting these people have free reign. Who the hell wants to live in a country where illegal invaders have free reign to struggle, snuggle, kill, and steal at will. Courts won't prosecute them.
I know you are working on the trade front, and for American farmers and the prices that they are experiencing, that they're feeling a pinch about not having a market to sell into necessarily.
Well, not anymore.
Well, the agricultural secretary just said that
You asked, how did he get past the small hats to become mayor of New York? It was the small hats who backed him. It was the Jews that backed him. Keep in mind, you're talking about the same people that like to call Trump a Nazi and a racist and all. They call him the Nazi and the Gestapo and all this stuff. But here you have small hats in New York doing exactly what the small hats in Germany did when they backed Funny Mustache Guy. The gays and the small hats in Germany backed Funny Mustache. Do you understand? They backed Funny Mustache. And what did he do after he won? He got the gays together and he red wedding them. And if you're not familiar with that, for those of y'all who didn't watch Game of Thrones or whatnot, the red wedding was, hey, come on, gays, let's have a big party. Let's celebrate. Yes, lock the doors. Yes, ushers, lock the doors. Y'all having a good time? Yeah, really? You nice and drunk? Good. Die, motherfucker. And slaughtered their asses. Slaughtered the gays. And then you saw what he did to the small hats. In Iran, when they in the 70s, when they fought to install the Ayatollah, they literally fought against their own freedoms. And the biggest fighters against their freedoms were liberal Iranian women. The next day after the Ayatollah won, you know what he did? Slaughtered his supporters. Slaughtered them, lined them up and shot them, threw them in jail. You were a useful idiot. We sit up here and say the white man, he'll use his tools. Then when he done with his tools, he'll break the tools. Yeah, he ain't the only one that's doing that. He learned that from the Muslims. Funny Mustache Guy learned that from the Muslims. They just kept the practice going. That's crazy. No other place on this planet immigrants can eat free and scam in another country. They can in the UK, in France, and England. Although England is starting to understand exactly, because understand earlier this year, I think it was about March or April, JD Vance went and had a talk with Munich in the Munich conference, and he told those EU countries, Eastern European countries, he told them, hey, look, if y'all don't do what we're doing, where you reversing your immigration policies and you're actually allowing free speech to happen, stop suppressing free speech, change your immigration policies, get your money right. I'm telling you right now, if y'all get in trouble and you call us, you better hit the Cash App. Hit the Cash App. I said hit the Cash App. We finna lay the floors down, people. We got the HVAC coming. Where the school at? Do you understand? They was like, we're not doing anything for you for free. We're not going to rescue you on the strength of nothing. You want us to save you? You're going to have to pay for it. You're going to have to hit the Cash App. And then Trump turned around and told all those EU countries, you need to contribute at least 5% of your income towards NATO. No more letting the U.S. foot the bill. 5% or we'll just take it out of your ass in tariffs. And all those countries coughed up 5%. You say Black Americans not ready for Islamic supremacy. It's way different from white supremacy. Yeah, it's way different because, you know, I mean, white people just call you an N-word and, you know, maybe chase you out of the neighborhood. But no, these people, the Muslims cut your head off. They enslave you. They grape your daughters. They grape your daughters. They call it, you know, you're an infidel. She deserved it. They make struggle snuggle legal. Look what's going on over there in Europe. Yeah, you saw the video. Yeah, it's wild. Let's get back into it.
The president's going to announce a bridge payment for farmers this week to give them short-term relief while you're working on finalizing these trade packages.
Well,
there are these low crop prices and the soybeans in particular. I know you spoke with China's Vice Premier Friday. Are they going to speed purchasing up?
Well, they're not going to speed purchasing up. They're in the cadence that we agreed to. Soybean prices are up about 12 or 15% since the agreement with the Chinese. They are going to buy 12.5 million metric tons. But Margaret, I'm involved in the agricultural industry. I run a soybean farm.
In other words, bitch, don't talk to me about my business. Don't talk to me about my business, Margaret. The Godfather. Don't talk to me about my business.
And I can tell you,
you invest in it.
Sorry?
You own or invest in
and people in my family go out and work on it. I actually just divested it this week as part of my ethics agreement, so I'm out of that business, but I probably know more about any Treasury Secretary than about agriculture since the 1800s. And I can tell you that what farmers need is certainty, and we have put that in place with this trade deal. 12.5 million metric tons this year, 25 million metric tons for the next 3 years for soybeans, also sorghum, and lumber.
So those purchases, just to clarify, those will be this year? Because I heard you say this past week that some of the purchases wouldn't take place until February.
Well, for the season, so the crop year.
The season year.
Yeah.
Okay, but why?
Right, because Trump did. I'm not going to be long on this, but Trump did. He is giving relief to American farmers because there was grumblings for months about what's going on with the American farmers. They need a bailout because of what's going on with the tariffs and foreign countries as far as their imports into America and whatnot. So Trump is giving relief to the farmers on top of bringing in those South African farmers. So the South African farmers, whatever relief they're getting, also American farmers are getting the same relief. Okay, because do understand the biggest thing you need in this country, you need farmers. That way, no other nation can decide to starve you out. So the American farmer is about to get some serious tax deductions, U.S. aid, all of that stuff. That's getting ready to kick in. That's getting ready to kick in later this month, if not next month, especially because of the big, beautiful bill. So what you're talking about securing the nation, not just militarily, but also agriculturally, as well as financially through the tariffs. All of this stuff is kicking in. This is why when black people say, well, I don't like what Trump is doing, and then you ask them, because I had the chick today wanting to talk about Trump, and I didn't want to hear it because I didn't feel like arguing. But it's like, what is it in his policies that you don't like? And when you hear them talk about the policies that they don't like about it, it's surface dirt, goofy shit. They can't go into depth about what it is that they don't like. But when they do, it's still surface dirt shit. It's all based on their feelings and not about economic facts. You understand? It's not about economic facts. It's about their feelings. And whatever little facts that they call themselves presenting come from CNN and, CBS and MSNBC or MS Now, which is a bunch of he hurt my feelings talk. You understand that? that trust me, bro, or I feel, but it's not based on facts. Your feelings are not facts. And when you sit down and talk to somebody like a Scott Bessent, who is actually directly involved in the money, he's going to tell you what's going on. Now, you don't have to believe him if you don't want to, but run his numbers and then you tell me where the flaw is.
If everything's fine, then why do farmers need a bridge payment from the agricultural department?
Sorry?
Why would farmers need a bridge payment from the agriculture department then?
Because these prices haven't come in, because the Chinese actually used our soybean farmers as pawns in the trade negotiations. And we are going to create this bridge because, again, agriculture is all about the future. You've got to start financing for planning next year, when things will be very good.
I want to ask you about something that was announced this past week, the Trump accounts and building on this concept. So parents, as I understand, are going to be able to open these accounts via the Treasury for their kids, their tax-deferred investment vehicles to U.S. citizen children under 18 get $1,000 from the government for babies born between 2025 and 2028. So there are going to be restrictions on what the money can be used for, college tuition or their first house. Is that right?
No, it is. The federal government for children born in the period you just described is going to put $1,000 into these Trump accounts. It will be invested in a widely diversified low-cost index.
Y'all remember this?
And then it will be available
in the stock market,
in the stock market,
exchange-traded fund or mutual fund.
So in essence, it is a trust fund. It is a piece of the American economy for every child, and they will be able to take it out when they're 18, or they can convert it to a more IRA type program and keep it for their retirement.
So there won't be the restrictions I mentioned there about how they use the money?
No.
Okay. So
right. The whole thing is, with that money, dropped this earlier this year, they put $1,000 in for the kid for the S&P 500. The S&P 500, of course, matures that money. At its current value, when he introduced it, they were saying, as far as how the market looks today, based on 18 years, the kid will walk away with $13,000 at its current value. But come next year, when you have all these corporations that are coming in, that are building all of these factories, you already see it happening now. That's that whole situation that happened down here in Georgia with that Hyundai plant, where they had all them South Koreans who had to go back home because their paperwork was dirty. But you have other corporations whose paperwork is not dirty for their workers. They're hiring Americans. What'll happen is the S&P 500 will start ballooning. It'll start growing. So that $13,000 that they're projected to get starting, I would say back in August of this year, going up to them being 18 years old, that's going to be worth way more than $13,000. Are you following me right now? There's projected numbers based on how things are sitting right then, and then there are projected numbers as you see the growth of the S&P 500 come in because of solidary investments in the United States. Am I making sense to you all? The growth is going to explode. The next 3 years, you're going to see it explode. It just depends on if the next president after Trump, which will more than likely be either Vance or Rubio, but everybody's money is on Vance, who Trump is grooming to be his successor. But he doesn't care if it's either one. But if they can keep his economy going or improve on it, by the time these kids who were born on January 1st of next year, by the time they turn 18, that money should set them up for life. Even if it's just $13,000, that's a car or an apartment or whatever. That kid's 18 years old, because that money cannot be touched until that child matures at 18 years old. and they're the only ones who will have access to it. The parents cannot have access to it. They can put money into it, but they can't draw any money out. That's the safeguard. That's an apartment. That's down payment on a house. That's a car. Do you understand? That's whatever they can do, whatever they want with their money when they turn 18. Hopefully, it'll go from 13 to 130K, 230K, whatever it takes to eliminate poverty. That's the mission. That's the mission. You say, I hope that fund does come to light. Oh, it's coming to light. But the whole thing is that you're sitting up here, understand how I'm seeing it. With the way that Trump is moving with the big, beautiful bill, as far as how he's handling like welfare, Section 8 and everything, he's trying to get Americans out of poverty and trying to kill the impoverished mentality. You're bringing factory jobs in here. Are they going to be using technology and AI? Yes, they are. So the pickings are going to be slim. It's not like you're going to be opening up a factory back in, the 90s or the 70s or whatnot, where there's like a 90% human interaction and 10% automation. You're probably looking at about a good 60 to 70% automation and 30% human interaction. Unfortunately, at 45% at the most. But the thing about it is that all of the surrounding areas, the businesses in the surrounding areas should start growing, because you're going to need truckers. You're going to need like food depots, things of that nature. Put it to you like this. Things that you would find in the strip mall, you're going to need more of those. Because the people who are working at these jobs, be they white collar or blue collar, will have the discretionary income to go and spend it. So if I'm working at a factory and I'm making $45 an hour, I'm going to go around, I'm going to turn around, I'm going to buy a house, I'm going to buy a car, I'm going to buy groceries. So I'm going to need furniture and all of these car accessories. My kids going to need clothes, because come on, I'm not going to be working and not have, a chick in my house. The biggest complaint is that you don't qualify for females because you're broke. You don't have a job, you don't have any benefits or nothing. Well, these chicks are not going to have jobs or benefits or nothing. At the most part, the government will not be feeding them. So those who are working, they're going to be looking for somebody that's working too. No longer will they be looking to take care of Gloctavius in Felantonio, because they could lose everything. You already see how these chicks are talking. You already see how the men are moving. So now that these male-centric jobs are coming back, warehouse, trucking, mechanical, a lot of HVAC. Now that these jobs are coming back, these male-centric jobs are coming back, more men who are blue-collar workers will be employed. All of these women who are white-collar workers, they can work upstairs in these office buildings. So you'll see the jobs coming back. It's just that the job market will do a complete 180. There'll be a switch. It'll be set back to where it was back in the I would say the 80s, if not the 90s, before Clinton signed that whole NAFTA deal. So you'll see men and women working together to raise children, pay for homes, cars, vacations, schools, taxes, all of that, because there will be no government windfall that they can fall back onto forever. Keep in mind, if you're able-bodied, you cannot be on Section 8 for more than 2 years. You cannot collect welfare for more than 2 years. Food stamps, if you're doing it for your kid, after 7 years, you're cut off. So no more living off of Uncle Sam under the guise of being the strong black women's. That shit is over with. Starting January 1st, You're going to see a lot of prostitution come 2028, 2029 for that remaining generation, but it'll be that second generation after the 2038s. That's when you'll see more cooperation between men and women as far as sustainability, because there's no system for you to exploit. So I remember black folks getting a job at the post office was a big deal. At least it was in Memphis, right? Because you had a steady paycheck and you had benefits, and you get, house, car, food, necessities off of that government check because you had the benefits and everything. It's no different. It's like just having military benefits. That's why if you ever listen to Charles the Stream or whatnot, he'll tell you right off rip, like, hey, if you've got a son, teenage son or daughter, it seems like they have nowhere to go in life, they seem directionless, you need to push them to sign up for the military. If nothing else, it will give them structure, order, and the benefits will help them later on in life when they get like in their 40s, 50s, etc. Especially at the age of 40, you're going to need those benefits. Or if you're like in your mid to late 20s, if you have the right GI Bill, you can get a house, you can go to school. They'll pay for everything. They won't pay for your house. They'll take care of your down payment, which you'll have to pay back in, your mortgage for the first few years. But the thing about it is that it's a quote unquote none money down, but they'll take care of your schooling, your health care, everything. You'll have free health care for life. I mean, I just left the VA yesterday. I mean, we were there for a good 5 hours, but the bill is going to be zero. You run around here crying about health care. Well, if you were a veteran, you could walk in with your military ID in any hospital and Uncle Sam will pick up the tab. But everything that Scott Bessent is talking about, you're looking at the new American economy. The new American economy, and it's coming, and you have to prepare for that.
There was also a broadening of this past week with the Dell Foundation making a significant investment in the American children. So how is this going to work? Why structure it this way instead of a savings account, for example?
Well, a savings account just gets interest. This is the compounding power of the stock market. As Warren Buffett says, don't bet against the American stock market, don't bet against the economy. And this is going to bring a whole group of new investors into the market. We're going to couple it with a big amount of financial literacy so that children understand what they own. The incredible gift by Michael and Susan Dell will be is a program that philanthropists, foundations can do to top up these accounts. And we are expecting, we're already at Treasury's already in discussions with foundations, with major philanthropists to top up these accounts. It could either be for all children, or you can specify it by zip code, a school district, or you can do what the Dells did and say that it won't apply to the zip codes of the top 20% of earners.
And more information is going to be coming out on how to use this and access it?
Yes, in the coming weeks we'll do that, and then the official kickoff will be July 5th.
Before I let you go, I want to ask you about this massive fraud out in Minnesota, and the state welfare program has been under federal investigation since all the way back in 2022. The president told you, though, this week to look into Somalis who, quote, ripped off that state for billions of dollars. He said they contribute nothing. What exactly are you investigating?
Well, Margaret, to be clear, the initial fraud that was discovered by the IRS, for which I'm the acting commissioner, is discovered by IRS Criminal Investigations Unit. This was not an endogenous thing that the state of Minnesota decided we had to go in and clean up the mess for them, and this is part of the continued cleanup. A lot of money has been transferred from the individuals who committed this fraud, including those who donated to the governor, donated to Representative Omar, and donated to A.G. Ellison. But they've been transferred to something called MBSs. And those are
mortgage-backed security. What do you mean?
Sorry?
Transferred to what?
These are money, the Bureau services.
Okay, MBS, Money Bureau Services. Okay, like Western Union and stuff like that. Is that what he means?
And they are wire transfer organizations that are outside the regulated banking system. And that money has gone overseas. And we are tracking that both to the Middle East and to Somalia to see what the uses of that have been.
Okay, but you have no evidence of that money being used to fuel terrorism at this point, which is what some conservative writers are alleging.
That's why it's an investigation. We started it last week. We'll see where it goes. But I can tell you that, it's terrible. Representative Omar tried to downplay it, said, it was very, it was very tough to know how this money should be used.
Yeah.
She was gaslighting the American people.
Well, we'll talk to her.
Yeah, but when you come to this country, you got to learn which side of the road to drive on. You got to learn to stop at stop signs, and you got to learn not to defraud the American people.
Well,
what?
Plenty of criminal behavior from communities well beyond the immigrant community. But we'll talk about this with Representative Omar shortly. Thank you, Mr. Secretary.
All right, so man, y'all just Western Union, MoneyGram, Scott, like, this bitch can't hear. I mean, she's CBS, she's CBS. Do understand CBS has got Trump derangement syndrome too, although they're being sold. CBS Paramount is being sold. This is why the whole Stephen Colbert situation was going on, because Trump sued them for doctoring the footage, the interview with Kamala Harris, and that's election interference. He had a strong case. The courts decided, they were going to rule in Trump's favor. So CBS took a plea deal. Well, they took they made a deal with Trump because they needed that merger to go through. All right, the CBS Paramount merger, they needed that to go through. They needed to make the sale. So starting next year, you were going to see a serious change in CBS as far as how they promote the news and everything. Same thing with CNN. They were sold to a conservative guy. He's in charge. You're going to see a switch in that. Just like you saw, who was that? Somebody got sold to Netflix. Warner Brothers, they got sold to Netflix. You're going to see changes because what it is, they need to clean out a lot of the garbage, a lot of the woke garbage. They need to clean that out. Why do you think MSNBC is now MS Now? And the question was, well, will MS Now, will they double down on their TDS, Trump derangement syndrome, or will they change? Come to find out, they dumped them, and as you can see, their TDS is ridiculous. Their TDS is off the chain with MS Now. I mean, they're worse than the Young Turks. It's ridiculous.
Good.
So let's get on to Ilhan Omar trying to blame Netflix about to be $30 a month now. I don't even watch Netflix like that.
And we're joined now by Minnesota Democratic Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. Welcome to the program. Thank you, Mark.
Let's see what this scumbag, terrorist, illegal scammer, hear what she had to say. But as far as that Netflix merger, them buying Warner Brothers Studios or whatnot, whether they do what they do with the DCEU movies or whatnot, the comic books and everything, because I mean, really, who really cares about DC outside of the movies or whatnot? We'll see what they do with that, but Netflix is trying to move away from the woke. From the woke. They're trying to move away from the woke. Let's see how the host treats Ilhan. Oh yeah, put her in prison. Yeah, I say put her in prison. Not only do you put her in prison, but you strip her of that $30+ million that they stole, trying to pretend like her husband's winery venture is successful when it's not. This funky Five Finger Productions motherfucker of a husband of hers. Yeah, strip them of that money, throw her in prison for a good 20 years, and then deport her ass. That's what I say. But let's go.
We have a lot to get to with you, but I want to pick up on where the Treasury Secretary just left off. He alleged that people who were tied to you or your campaign were involved in this broad, brazen scheme to rip off the Minnesota state welfare system. Do you want to respond to that? Do you know what he is referring to?
I really don't, and I don't think the secretary himself understands what he's referring to.
Okay. Keep in mind, Scott Bessent this dude is the accountant of the United States. He's the lead accountant of the United States. We don't even deal with cash currency in the United States like that anymore. Not like that. I've got over $2,000 in cash currency that I know, I should take it to the bank and turn it into digital currency, because if this system fails, if it falls, the digital and the physical currency won't be worth spit. But we have we're a digital currency country. With digital currency, you have blockchain, i.e., I can easily track where the money goes because there's a digital transfer for where all the money goes, into which account, how much is spread amongst which, where, and whatever, and everything. We can track it. It's no different than you putting baby powder down from all in the hallway of your house or whatever from midnight till 5 a.m. And then you open your bedroom door and you just follow the footprints and you can see who went where. Probably not at what time, but you can see who left their room, who went where. You went in the kitchen, you went in the living room, you went outside, you went out on the back porch, because I can see your footprints in the baby powder. Scott Bessent doesn't know what he's talking about.
We obviously had people who were able to donate to our campaign that were involved. We sent that money back a couple years ago. And actually, I was one of the first members of Congress to send a letter to the Secretary of Ag asking them to look into what I thought was a reprehensible fraud that was occurring within the program.
Committed by who? By your actual friends or people who were not a part of the Somalian terrorist system?
So this was, just for our audience, the Biden-era Justice Department called it the largest COVID fraud scheme in the country. And this was pocketing COVID-era welfare funds, more than $1 billion in taxpayer money that was stolen. It was pretty shocking. Of the 87 people charged, all but 8 are of Somali descent. And that has added to the spotlight being put specifically on your community. Why do you think this fraud was allowed to get so widespread?
Before she answers, I want you to understand, we're talking about her district. When she was on CNN and she said, well, the safeguards weren't put in place. Excuse me, Ilhan, you're in charge of the safeguards. You're the top dog in your district. You're in charge of the safeguards. So if any safeguards were not put in place, it's because you didn't put them in place.
I want to say, this also has an impact on Somalis because we are also taxpayers in Minnesota. We also could have benefited from the program and the money that was stolen. And so it's been really frustrating for people to not acknowledge the fact that we're also as Minnesotans, as taxpayers.
You're not taxpayers. 84% of your people in your district are on welfare or on all of these programs where the fraud has been found. Autism, food, COVID, housing. 87% of the people in your district are taking advantage of these fraudulent programs that are found in your district. So what taxes are you paying? By the way, not to mention all of the businesses that have closed, that they've used their political power to close because they are not part of the Sharia law. Sharia law, Somalian religion, bars, restaurants, and other storefronts. They've had these places shut down. They've stripped these peoples of their business licenses. They're just empty husks.
Really upset and angry about the fraud that has occurred.
Mm-hmm. So do you think, though, that there was a failure by the Democratic state government to police itself? This is a brazen, fraudulent activity here.
Yeah,
keep in mind, she's part of the Minnesota state government.
And that is what I alluded to in my letter that I'd sent to the Secretary of Ag, was to see where things were going wrong. How can this amount of money disappear fraudulently without there being alarms being set off? And it is something that, we have to continue to investigate. We have to continue to ask those questions.
Keep in mind, the alarm bells were set off. The courts in Minnesota, Minneapolis said, yeah, this is fraudulent activity. But it was allowed to continue because this scumbag bitch and her people were saying, oh, well, this is racist that you're not letting us get this fraudulent monies. So they caved because Tim Walz stepped in and said, yes, let it go. The Attorney General, the state Attorney General said, yeah, let it go, because he took money. Got him on tape admitting that he took money to help the Somalians. You got the chief of police making apologies for them being caught up in the fraud because, accountability is racist.
Because, as you know, one of the initial defenses by the organization at the heart of the fraud, Feeding Our Future, was to claim the probe was due to racism. Do you think that this was all about negligence, or that it was like political fear of alienating the Somali community?
So you have to remember that the woman who led the program is a Caucasian woman. And that was her.
You see that? Now she's trying to blame a white woman. A white liberal woman. This is why we sit up here and say white liberal females are the bane of Western society.
Way of making sure that this would continue to happen by using whatever rhetoric that was available to her. We do know that when the money was stopped, they did sue. The AG, Attorney General Keith Ellison, defended the department in that lawsuit.
You hear her throwing people under the bus?
Judge that said it should continue, that money should continue to go out. And so this wasn't something that people were not looking at. There was always those alarms, and we will continue to understand where things might have gone wrong as these investigations continue and as these fraudsters are prosecuted and sent to jail.
Well, she threw white women, the state and the state attorney general, and the judges, the court system. She threw all of them under the bus. Unfortunately, the court of public opinion does not matter when it comes to the court of justice. They don't care what you have to say, especially the federal government. They don't give a shit if you call them racist or not. The law is the law. And I guarantee you that they've traced a lot of that money back to her pockets, back to Tim Walz's pockets, back to the sheriff's pockets, as well as a bunch of other officials in Minnesota traced it back to their pockets. They're doing the Susan Smart. They're doing the Susan Smart card. If y'all are not familiar with Susan Smart, I think it was back in the late 90s, early 2000s. This white woman named Susan Smart had two little boys. She was divorced, dating some white dude who didn't want to play stepdaddy. So what Susan Smart did was strap her boys into the back seat, and she drove the car into a river, or she drove the car into the river or a lake or whatnot, body of water, let the car go sink underwater, and then ran to the news and claimed that a black man carjacked her and stole her two boys. Of course, and here's the funny part. This was the beginning of the Orwellian society. They had video of her car at the traffic light near the waterfront. There was no signs of a scuffle or anything. There was no black man that she could pin it on. She couldn't even describe the black man or whatnot. So for a whole week and a half, they let her go on TV and boo-hoo and that nigger, he stole my babies. The nigger stole my babies. Meanwhile, they had diving teams in the water. They found the car. They wound up securing it. And while she was in the middle of her 15th press conference, fake crying about some black man stealing her car and kidnapping her babies and please bring them home, they drugged the car from the river, the waterfront, and had two boys strapped in the back. They already knew that she was guilty, that she had killed the babies or whatnot, but they let her go on TV every day, blaming some black man on killing her, kidnapping, and her babies. That's the same thing they doing with this chick.
It's going to have impact for your community because we've already heard the head of Medicare and Medicaid say they're going to have a new policy that applies to Minnesota. You heard the Treasury Secretary say they're investigating. But there's another thread here because House Republicans and the Treasury Secretary just now talked about a link to terrorism, a possible link. He said they're just now beginning to look into it. How confident are you that that's a false claim?
I'm pretty confident at the moment because there are people who have been prosecuted and who have been sentenced. If there was a linkage in that the money that they had stolen going to terrorism, then that is a failure of the FBI and our court system in not figuring that out and basically charging them with these charges. And so I do know that for many years, this sort of like alarm that there is money being transferred through the airport in bags and going to terrorism that accusation has always existed. There's never been here and there in those accusations. But if that is the case, if money from US tax dollars is being sent to help with terrorism in Somalia, we want to know.
Yeah.
And we want those people prosecuted. And we want to make sure that doesn't ever happen again.
So there are...
You hear how full of shit this woman is? Look at that. Look at the look on her face. The smugness. I mean, this is the same look that your chick will give you, explaining to you, trying to gaslight to you why she fucked your brother. You understand? Why she fucked your... I mean, I know she, quote unquote, married her brother. I mean, despite the accusations, I don't think because her brother is that dude is gay as Christmas. If you've ever seen her brother gay as Christmas. So we'll take her brother out of it. But this is the same look a chick will give you when she feeding you bullshit as to why she fucked your best friend while you was at work and trying to pin it on you. That's that same look.
80,000 people of Somali descent in your state, but the president has been very focused, not just on them, but on you. In this extraordinary cabinet meeting, he said Somalis, quote, come from hell. They complain and they do nothing but bitch. Take a listen.
look on her face.
These are people that do nothing but complain. They complain. And from where they came from, they got nothing. We don't want them in our country. Let them go back to where they came from and fix it. Thank you very much.
That knocking is vehement agreement from his cabinet members there. I just wonder what the reaction is in your district to have that from the highest office in the land.
No, well, watch this. Okay, $5 in a cheese pizza. Say that she all of a sudden say,
It's disgusting. It's completely disgusting. These are Americans that he is calling garbage.
You motherfuckers are not Americans, you're Somalians.
Like there is an unhealthy obsession that he has on the Somali community, and an unhealthy and creepy obsession that he has with me. I think it is also really important for us to remember that this kind of hateful rhetoric and this level of dehumanizing can lead to dangerous actions by people who listen to the president.
And 95% of the Somalis in your state are U.S. citizens.
Yes.
No. They are naturalized citizens, which means that they can be denaturalized. Not to mention that what she's really counting is the TPS status. Understand this, CBS. They lie. They think TPS makes you a citizen. TPS is temporary protection status, which means that you can stay here because of, it's a danger for you to go back to your home country. So you get temporary protection status, which Trump eliminated. You're not U.S. citizens. You have Somalians out here making stupid ass TikTok videos talking about some, thousands of years ago, Minnesota was promised to us. Nobody gave a shit about your country 1,000 years ago, 800 years ago, 100 years ago, 50 years ago. Nobody gave a shit about Somalians. This is the United States. Do you think they gave a shit about Africa outside of draining it of its natural resources? No. Nothing was promised to you. Nothing was guaranteed to you. Even Biden, who let you scumbag scamming pieces of shit in here, didn't promise you shit. That's why a lot of you are on TPS status.
Just for clarity there. But the president has restricted all immigration processing, including asylum claims from Somalis already on U.S. soil, along with 18 other countries. ICE reports it has rounded up about 19 people, and they put out press releases with the images of about 5 of them that they say are the worst of the worst. Is that the entirety of the crackdown to date?
Yeah, so far we know of the people that they've picked up in Minnesota. About 5 of them are Somalis. And from what I have read and from the people that I've spoken to, all of them had already had orders of removal. So these are not people who are undocumented, but people who have committed crimes and who should have already been sent out of the country.
Unfortunately for her, I'm gonna read this. You say this is the beginning of the end. Amandine 5761 said this is the beginning of the end for Somalians. Tom Homan says they are about to denaturalize 50% or those involved in fraud. Lots of whistleblowers coming forward. One at TSA, suitcases of money, millions. Here's the thing that's going on with that as far as the denaturalization. The ones that she liked to call Americans. All of those who were involved in the fraud. First, the TPS status is gone. This is national. National, you're getting the fuck out of here. This 50% or those or whatnot that are about to be denaturalized, especially in Minnesota, these are all the ones who engaged in the fraud. Everybody that engaged in the fraud is getting the fuck out of here. You're being denaturalized. That includes her. Just for the record, that includes her too. Because she is a naturalized citizen and her paperwork is dirty. Because she was never truly naturalized as a citizen. Her paperwork is dirty. Do you understand? Her paperwork is dirty. She out of here. She out of here. And now she's trying to gaslight.
I want to ask you about something else that the architect of the president's immigration policy, Stephen Miller, said. On Thanksgiving Day, he posted, "No magic transformation occurs when failed states cross borders. At scale, migrants and their descendants recreate the conditions and terrors of their broken homelands." What do you make of this argument of failure to assimilate and sort of ruining America? How do you understand this?
Yeah, because do understand, remember the whole term model minority that us as black folks, we try to make as a bad thing? The thing about it is model minority. What is a model minority? A model minority is one who comes in here from a foreign country and they adhere to the laws and the practices and the machinations of the United States. You don't come here from China and try to impose your CCP laws here in China. Here in the United States. Either you adapt to our culture or you get the fuck out. Now, does China, do they have their own plots here in the United States? Are they a nation within a nation? Yes, we call it Chinatown. Indians from India, they do the same thing. Other cultures across the world, they have their own little enclaves, but they still adhere to and respect the laws of the United States. They keep their heads down, except for the Muslims in the Middle East and scammers like Somalians and Nigerians coming here to the United States. Oh, and also South Americans. They come here and they create systems of thievery here in the United States. They're criminals. But back before Biden opened the borders, when these people came here and did that, they were caught and subsequently removed without any type of fanfare. Like they said, they called Obama the porter-in-chief. Bill Clinton didn't even play that shit. Trump in his first term didn't play that shit. Biden did, because he was so incompetent, he didn't care. But now Trump is cleaning up Biden's mess that any other president before Biden didn't play that shit. So now it's a problem.
And when I think about Stephen Miller and his white supremacist rhetoric, it reminds me of the way the Nazis described Jewish people in Germany. As we know, there have been many immigrants who have tried to come to the United States who've turned back, one of them being Jewish immigrants. We know the way that people were described who were coming from Ireland, Irish immigrants. We know the way in which people were described back then when they were Italian immigrants.
Yeah, but they assimilated. They got jobs and they assimilated.
And to me, we're yes, of course, ethnically Somali. We are in this country as Americans.
Yeah.
We are citizens. We are productive part of this nation, and we will continue to be.
No,
Congresswoman Omar, thank you for your time today.
But you see, she went straight to the racism card. Straight to the racism card.
I'm wondering what you may have seen or heard in terms of.
Now here's the Minneapolis mayor condemning ICE raids. All of these thieving scumbags, and of course, you don't see not one. If you notice, you don't see not one ADOS member here. It's goofy liberal white bitches and Somalians. And look, they're clergy members. Goofy white. Look, here's a dumb Negro right here. Member of the cloth. But the majority of people, look, white women, White, I guess that's a woman. White woman is a goofy white male. Goofy white male. I think there's a goofy white male, white female, goofy white male, white female, or is she Asian? Goofy white male, but the majority in here, you see the racial makeup of these scumbags who are supporting criminality in Minneapolis.
We have received reports about a number of scattered incidents in which federal agents were involved in some form of activity. In many cases, those activities are largely built around terrorizing people. Do we know of a large scale or mass gathering? No, at this point, I am not aware of one yet. That being said, you've heard from a whole lot of people back here that are deeply concerned. I have talked to Somali mothers who have been in Minneapolis for
the scammers
longer than I have been in Minneapolis.
The scammers
carrying around their passport just because they want to be safe. We are talking to people who have built businesses, started families, had children and grandchildren.
The scammers.
They have contributed so deeply to the fabric of who we are, and they themselves are now concerned about their own families getting ripped apart. And so, yes, there is scattered activity that we have heard about. And here's the other thing. I don't think that a lot of these federal agents themselves know exactly what they're doing, given some of the directives that they've supposedly got. There's about 80,000 Somali people in America.
Okay.
Of those 80,000 Somali people, the vast majority, almost all, are legal, and the vast majority are American citizens.
How do you know that? Did you talk to 80,000 of them? Did you talk to 60,000 of them? Or you just saying what the piece of paper that they told you to say?
And so it's not like you can go to a place and suddenly herd up a bunch of Somali people that don't have documentation. They've got documentation. They're legal. They're Americans. We should be treating them like human beings.
We are treating them like human beings. We're treating them like criminal human beings.
Any of
I didn't even hear the question.
Yeah, well, you guys want?
What was the question?
Yeah. Clearly, there's some sort of obsession with Minnesota. I don't pretend to know the machinations of what goes on in a guy's head.
Hold on. You don't know why Trump is going after Minnesota after more than $2 billion? They say up to $6 billion have been stolen and laundered back to a terrorist organization. You don't know why Trump has a hard on for Minnesota? Are you serious? Are you serious?
The focus need not be on whatever comes out of his mouth. Yes. Yeah. Next. Is it dangerous? Of course. Is it hurtful? Absolutely. The focus needs to be on.
It's so dangerous and hurtful for the criminals.
What we value as Americans. As Americans, we value the rule of law. As Americans, we value the Constitution.
Do we?
As Americans, we value fairness.
Do we?
And here's the thing, for those constitutional scholars out there, whether you're on the left side of things or the right side of things, you should be losing it right now.
We are losing it.
Because this is completely and blatantly illegal and unconstitutional what the guy's talking about.
Actually, no. It's completely, blatantly illegal and unconstitutional what you're supporting. He looks like Gavin Newsom's cousin or something. Timu Gavin Newsom. Rainbow Priest. I bet he won't. These people are insane. You have to understand, these people are insane. But the forensic audit, and I've been saying this for months, if you did a forensic audit on a lot of these states, people like him, you find out that they took money. You find out that they're corrupt. Just like Shane Tao in Oakland. Just like that one black chick in Massachusetts. Just like Tiffany Henyard, just like Cantrell, Brandon Johnson. You'll find out that these people are crooked. They take money from foreign investors. I'm going to leave it here. You guys, I mean, you see this stuff. You see it. You see these people ripping us off and then gaslighting us and lying to us. But you have people in government who have more power than we do, than they do. They're like, these people are stealing money. And all they do is lie and gaslight us. The constitutional, like how they immigrants volunteering violations of the 14th Amendment. Right. Oh my God. I can't wait till the shoe drops and all of this actually comes out, because I guarantee you that Ilhan, the state attorney general, and of course Tampon Tim, all of them are going to be indicted for fraud. It's just a matter of time. And the thing about it is, this is the funny thing about the government, y'all, and those of y'all who've been paying attention to government, you already know, is that they'll sit up here and let you go on every type of TV show and news organization you want to and throw out all the excuses and whatnot that you want to, but they'll present the evidence that will destroy everything you said. And then they'll throw that shit up back in your face. Well, you said in this interview that such and such and such and such, but turns out that you actually did steal the money. So, I mean, what now? And then you sitting up there with egg on your face. You sitting up there with egg on your face. It's just a matter of time. I give it, I would say probably about mid-January is when they're going to announce that Ilhan Omar and Ilhan Omar and Tim Walz and their state attorney general all receive kick, and this guy, as well as probably the sheriff out there in Minneapolis, all receive kickbacks from stealing taxpayer funds in order to support Somalians and their terrorist organization.
No, gentlemen, Mr. Butler's been up north, I hear. Don't you agree with this, Mr. Butler? I think it's hard winning a war with words, gentlemen.
What do you mean, sir?
I mean, Mr. Hamilton, there's not a cannon factory in the whole South.
What difference does that make, sir, to a gentleman?
I'm afraid it's going to make a great deal of difference to a great many gentlemen, sir.
Are you hinting, Mr. Butler, that the Yankees can lick us?
No, I'm not hinting. I'm saying very plainly that the Yankees are better equipped than we. They've got factories, shipyards, coal mines, and a fleet to bottle up our harbors and starve us to death. All we've got is cotton and slaves and arrogance.
That's treachery!
A problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
Right. Hi. Thanks for the fun.
Get the fuck out!